Geneva Rose, shake my hand. Shake my hand, Geneva Rose. Zoom in. Shake my hand. You just delivered another banger. Another one. This book just came out April 30th. I'm finished it already. That's how much of a banger it was. I wasn't about to take my time with this. If y'all know me, y'all know thriller is my thing. You heard? No more reading reflections, literary references, critique rubrics. Nah, fuck that. This the Bookish Lounge. We came here to talk about the book, right? I'm just saying, we came here to talk about the book. Not the questions, but the book. What AI said, we talking about practice. Not a game. Not a game, but we talking about practice. We talking questions, or we talking about the book? What we doing, Rod? What we doing, J. Reed? June 15th, 1999, it went down. That's the day in this book, Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose, is going to live in infamy. This book follows the Thomas family, Beth, Nicole, Michael, Lauren, and Brian. Laura and Brian is the father and the mother. The other three badass kids is the kids, obviously. Beth is at home with her moms. You know, her mom's is dying of cancer. You know what I'm saying? So she about to go up yonder. And before she could die, she said these words to Beth. Don't trust. Oh no, she said, your father didn't disappear. Don't trust. And then she dies. Last words. She's sitting there cold. Trust me, I've been through it. I know. Next thing you know, we fast forward. The siblings come home. They are not close at all. Throughout the book, you're going to realize they ain't close at home. And the reason was they drew distance because of the disappearing of their father. Or they say he left 7 years ago. Man, if he left, he disappeared. You hear me? Ain't no milk woman out here. Beth is the one who stayed back in Wisconsin in what they call the Grove. She got pregnant. She was married. It didn't work out. She was fucking early. She had a daughter who was in the Navy. They don't really got a good relationship. See, Beth is one of them siblings who, when the other siblings do good, she played a blame game because she had to stay back and take care of the moms. That was a personal choice. Whether you should take care of your mother, but you don't put blame on everybody else because they left. But this is the things that happen in families. I digress. Michael is the one who got out. He got to California. He worked for a big tech firm. You know, he one of those. So you know he feeling himself being from a small town in Wisconsin, the Groove or the Grove. Now he Big Willie out there in Cali working for a big tech firm. Beth blames him for everything. They go through it throughout the whole book. And then obviously you're going to have a crackhead in the family. You got Nicole. She's the drug addict. You know, the family shame. The mother leaves her will to Elizabeth, left her some furniture and like a silver key for a drop box that we'll talk about later on. The rest they left to split between her siblings. Her mother wanted to be cremated and spread around the property. Mike, though, when the lawyer come through and he split the assets up, he come to find out, Nicole, everybody is surprised that she got an account over $100K because Mike was sending her $2,000 a month. He was footing the bill. And Beth got mad like, yo, you came home and we found out our mom had 2 accounts, you know what I'm saying? And she got over $100K in there and she wanted that money to be donated to missing people funds. She wanted to donate that, right? So when the lawyer come through and he break everything up, you know, according to the mother's will, everybody got their split. You know, Mike was like, I don't need none of that. I got my own money. So that incites Beth even more. She like, yo, this dude be feeling himself. I'm out here struggling. He's sending $2K a month over. So it's that sibling rivalry, man, that we all go through. So obviously that's the portion. We paint this whole picture. The mother dies. The sibling comes back home. The lawyer comes through, breaks everything in the property, tell her what she wanted to do with her body and all that stuff. Y'all know how death in the family goes if you lost a loved one or family member, especially a mother or father. So the siblings is going around the house, cleaning up or whatever the case may be. They start talking about old times. You know how it is during death. You kind of bring up old things. They come across a video, summer 1999, that a fundraiser ran by their moms began. They had games, food, summer fun. There was more recording of events that day. In the video, it just seemed to be a nice family fun day. Why they watching the video? They on the couch talking. Oh, I remember that. Then you know the old little cassette, the VHS with a jump flip, and you see the little lines come up on the screen. That's when you see a video of a dad bring a body by the crib. Not inside the house, but right outside, and he called for his wife, Lora. Obviously, Lora is all hysterical, and rightfully so. She like, yo, what you doing with this little girl? The little girl turned out to be Emma Harper. who looks like she was put through hell. Shorty got hit in the, looked like she got hit in the head with a stone. Like they were trying to stone her ass, right? But Laura's so stupid, she's still recording. So she got Brian, she got Brian all over candid camera. And they see the girl. They like, oh, that's Emma. Like, what happened? So the husband is like, I'm sorry. I don't know how this happened. It was a mistake. And I'm like, wait, did he hit her with a car or something? Because, I mean, that could be explained, right? But Geneva ain't going to give us that. It's too early in the book. So he is like, here, help me out. And that's when the video cut. We go back to the siblings. Obviously, they're in shock. They just seen like what happened with their parents for the first time. And after all these years, this little girl, Emma, been missing. And the whole time they thinking it was the father and the mother who covered it up. And where's the body? So that's basically the first setting right there. I already gave you the first half. Well, not the first half, but I gave you the first 15, right? So we going through the book. We fast forward, then Lucas comes over because Lucas is Emma's brother, Emma's older brother. But he was the boyfriend of Beth. They was high school sweethearts. He come through to give his condolences. You know how that go. They get to reminiscing, and he asked her if she would like to go on the trail for old time's sake, because she was a track star in high school before she blew her knee out. She go with him on the trail, but she's still feeling guilty about the video they just saw because it was son's sister and her parents hid the body or did whatever they did with the body. So she feel like, should I tell him? You know what I'm saying? I'm with my ex. We going down the pier. Should I tell him? But nah, because he jumped out. He said he didn't telling her he regrets having kids and getting married. And she like, why? And it was some dope thing that he said. He said, you can't lose what you never had. I guess he was referring to his sister. We fast forward then, Nicole and Beth in the next scene when Nicole asks Michael to take her to the methadone clinic for her addiction pills, right? Mike was like, yeah, I'll take you or whatever the case may be. I'm not tripping. I know you need to get that stuff because you're trying to wane off that crack. But when he get there, she in the back with a dude, and it looked like he giving her an envelope. So she like, yo, Mike like, yo, where you get that from? And she was like, Emma was like, she got it from her old crush. We come to find out that the old crush was Casey Dunn, who worked for the Woolworth Sheriff's Department. I got to get that one right. The Woolworth Sheriff's Department. So he gave her that manila envelope, which had the case of Emma, you know what I'm saying? Because she wanted now, because they seen the video, she looking like, I got to figure this out. She trying to play, you know what I'm saying, like a detective almost. So her, Emma, and Mike, they go on back and forth or whatever the case may be. And then when they return, they see that the house is broken into. So, you know, Mike got to be big brother, yo, stand behind me. Place was trash, but they never took the video. So I was wondering, like, where was Geneva going in that? They done came back from the clinic because they had to get the methadone, you know what I'm saying, for the sister. And they come back and they find the crib broken into. So I didn't know where she was going. I'm like, uh-oh, somebody trying to find evidence, somebody trying to do something, right? Let's see if that's the case later on. So the whole time, Beth received this email from her father. After she ain't talked to him, nobody heard from him in 7 years. And then she just received this mysterious email from her father. But she was saying also that she was sending her father something, email every year or every month or something like that, in hopes he returned. Because if she keeps sending him emails, then to her it's like he's never been gone. I mean, if that's the way to keep somebody alive, then that's cool. But I found it strange that Geneva threw that wrench in there, because now I'm like, yo, did her father really like look out? And he just told her like, yo, don't look for me. I'm good. Like, don't worry about it. And she thinking like, oh, it's because of the mom's passing, he reaching out, you know what I'm saying? Because it was his wife. You know, they've been together for umpteen years. So they get to arguing about, like, you know, over the email and, you know, sibling stuff. You know, you was never there. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. And I feel like you shouldn't put that on somebody. You know what I mean? But then they come to find out that Beth got to tell them the last words of the moms. So she like, I can't tell them the whole thing because they ain't been there. Like, so I'm going to hold this one on. So she basically told them that they father didn't just disappear, because obviously you can't run with that now. But she don't tell them that, not the last part where she said don't trust. We come to find out Nicole has been hooked on drugs after an accident in a car. And then when they prescribed her all these drugs, oxycodone, codeine, all that extra stuff for pain, they cut her clean off. And then she had to find like a supplement. Says she started doing weed, started drinking, but when that don't work, you know what you go to, crack. So that's how they gave a little backstory about, well, Geneva Rose gave a little backstory about Nicole and how she got hooked on drugs. So it was just a simple car accident. You know what I'm saying? And then that kind of spiraled out of control with the drugs that you get for pain. And then we knows what happened after that. You need that next fix. The siblings asked Mike, because he in that tech field, to track the IP address that their dad sent the email to. And he does. And he tell him it's about an hour away. So Nicole is hyped because she want to see her father. Beth is like, man, I'm good. I want to stay here. So Nicole and Mike, they go see their father where it was at. But I'm like, why would they find their father? It's the beginning of the book. It's too easy. So I'm like, Geneva wouldn't give us that. So obviously when they got there, it was abandoned. It wasn't nothing else. It wasn't nothing crazy. So I already knew that was going to be, I knew it wasn't going to be no clues. I knew it was just going to be a dead spot because whoever it was trying to send him off the task. So after that, Nicole gets a little upset, whatever. She asks Mike to take her back to her old crib where she could get some clothes and a few of her things because she got to move. So Mike get there. Mike like, yo, this ain't even a Motel 6. This a Motel 5. I'm like, damn, this is a dump. So he let her go in there, tell her, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So the sister, Nicole, she go inside. So she start arguing with this dude, right? And dude is in there going in. So Mike come out the room and like right where Mike come out the car and go into the room. And right when he gets to the room, son slapped the shit out of his sister. And when you find out how Mike is, yo, Mike rushed son, pushed him into the wall, punished him, beat the dog shit out of him, breaking his nose and cracking his teeth. All over Nicole, owing him $500. Mike took out his wallet and was like, yo, whispered in his ear, like, yo, you come near my sister and I promise you, you won't look the same after this because I'm going to kill your ass. Then took out bread and threw it at his ass. He said, Geneva Rose described it as it's sticking to his face from the blood in the pool or whatever. So I'm like, uh-oh, Mike is a wild dude, bro. Punished him. But it was a dude in the car that looked at Mike like, you went in there and handled business, gave him that nod. Mike like, yeah, it is what it is. I had to handle it, yo. So around, they get back to the crib. Beth is watching the video again, and we come back and we see Michael's 13th or 14th birthday. And basically he gets a desktop. And the kids is like, yo, how the hell he get a desktop for his birthday? Liz like, yo, I better get a car for mine. But when she's looking at the video now, she sees the weirdness between the mother and the father, something that she never did before. It was kind of like they was giving him that gift out of guilt. That's when everything started to click for me. So I was sitting there like, all right. So the next scene shifts over to Lucas comes over and asks Beth to go on another walk back to their old stomping grounds where they go to the lake. When she get there, she sees a bloodied up Emma basically off of guilt. You know how in the movie where like you walking and it flash, you see the little dead girl. So I guess on guilt, she's seen it. You know what I'm saying? And that's when they have like a little rekindle and they kiss or whatever the case may be. But then they get back to the crib. F and Michael have it out again about how they was treated different than her and Nicole. So I'm looking at it like, all right, she painted this scene like Beth. The next scene is Lucas coming over. They going out for a walk again. They walk into their spot. She sees his sister, but I guess in her dead form, you know, out of guilt. They had a little kiss and she kind of want to get back to the crib. Upon getting back to the crib, her and Mike have it out again about how he was treated different than her and Nicole. Then it comes to like another girl goes missing. Christy. Susan goes over. They see in the video again, mind you. They looking at another video where Susan goes over to Christy and she goes over to the Harpers to tell them someone confessed about, you know, the crime or whatever the case may be. And she's like, well, another girl went missing. So whoever confessed, like, what happened? So she basically saying, so Lora look at Brian and she like, yo, I don't trust Brian no more. Cause like another girl go up missing. You got the first girl over here. So I'm looking like, what the hell is going on? Like, did Brian kill her? And then he killed another Joan? Is the father a serial killer? Like, I was really trying to, you know, figure it out. Lora doesn't trust Brian anymore. When you read the book, you definitely gonna see throughout the book why she don't trust him. I'm just giving you an overview. Eddie comes over. Eddie is the father of Lucas and Emma. He comes over and basically tells Brian that the case fell through and the person who they suspected, Charles Gallagher, gets to walk. I'm like, okay, he gets to walk. He ain't gonna be around long. So this goes back and forth. So now they go back to the siblings and they're at the bar discussing the case. Michael and Beth have it out again for the third time, and this time it comes out. He's like, yo, I'm better than you. You mad because you had to stay behind. I'm better than you. She gets all mad. He's like, yo, chill out. You know what? The house is valued at $300K. I'm gonna give you $400. I'm like, yo, I'm taking that. But she don't want to give it to Mike out of spite because she felt like Mike got everything he wanted. So just picture them at a bar drinking. You know, it fast forwards to goes back to their family, and then fast forwards back to them in that bar. You know, and she just feel like, I don't want to give it to him. It's out of spite. She mad, whatever the case may be. But in grief, you know, you do wild stuff. So after that, Casey comes back to the bar and he gives Nicole the missing person files for Christy. But it's not just Christy, it's Charles Gallagher as well. And then Lora goes, see, this is what I don't understand, right? Charles is missing, right? Christy is missing, right? So now I'm thinking, like, as I'm reading the book and all of these events is going in order too. Trust me, I'm going in order. But it's just going back and forth from 1999 to the time they're in now. They go back and Lora goes over to Charles's crib. So once she tell her about the Gallagher jump, they flip back to like August or something. And that's when she go over to Brian Gallagher's crib, or Charles Gallagher crib. Lora go over there because she feels sorry and guilty and she just wanted to talk. And then when they get there, she realized he's just a regular person. Like, he wouldn't be capable of doing this type of stuff. So after that, the kids go and their mother, they go back to the kids and they have their funeral, right? So when they have their funeral, Lucas comes over with his mom's and she said some weird stuff that I thought was crazy. She said, yo, Lora is supposed to be here. She was going to tell me where Emma was at. And then Lucas, he don't really know what's going on. So he like, yo, my bad. I know we here for your moms. Because her moms wanted to be her ashes spread around the property. So she like, yo, Lucas like, yo, I'm going to just take her to the crib because she wilding or whatever the case may be. She keeps saying, what time Emma coming home? She asking about Brian. And basically, Lucas' moms, she's been going through it like throughout her life. And like they kind of tell it where they say she died over and over. Like every year she keeps on dying inside with the loss to Emma. And that kind of sent her into the dementia. And she thinking that her daughter's going to come back. So then we go back to December 27th, 1999, where Brian had to explain because she left the bike somewhere. How Charles got off was Lora went and left the bike somewhere else, right? But now Charles ends up being dead. So he feel like he's cleaning up her mess. So we come to find out again that the reason why Charles Gallagher got off because it was Emma's bike, but it was missing somewhere else. So it was like it kind of threw a wrench in the case and they had to let him go. But upon them letting him go, obviously dude got mad that his daughter's killer was supposedly going to be let go. So that's when he basically ended up dead. And you see Brian had to clean up the mess again. And then we see, Lucas coming over again. They going back and forth. So then after that scene, Lucas comes over, which I thought was a coincidence. He come over asking her, what we know. What do you know? Are you coming over for a tour? He wanted to, but basically he was asking for a tour of the house. Like he ain't never been in there. He was basically coming to clap those cheeks. In my eyes, he was coming over to clap those cheeks. Then Lucas, after that, they had sex or whatever the case may be. Then we get back down. Lucas then tells Beth that he thinks his father has something to do with Emma's murder. And he states that his father killed himself on the 2-year anniversary of Emma's disappearance. With all that guilt inside, I knew she was going to be the one to break. She can't stomach it. She just got a little bit of hammer. And she's the one that break down and tell Lucas about the parents, what they did, and how she's going to play the tape for him. Little do she know it's never going to be that easy. She starts to play the tape, and then the recording ain't there no more. It's like it goes to where they're a happy family, and instead of cutting back to that night where the father, Brian, comes up with the body, nah, that's not there no more. So Lucas is like, yo, what you doing? You think this is a joke? You telling me your parents did this, they did that? Because she confessed everything to Lucas, and she was trying to show him with the video. So he thinks she going crazy. Like, why would you do that? Like, you playing around? Like, what you doing? Like, you know what? Matter of fact, I don't want nothing to do with you because you doing too much. Like, this ain't what we gonna be doing. So he dip out. She starts to go ape shit. So Michael and Nicole pull back up to find their sister setting stuff on fire. She going crazy. She going crazy over Lucas and a love rage to me. And the siblings go at it again, start saying wild stuff to each other, wild, wicked stuff. Michael called Nicole a goddamn crackhead, and he like, Beth, you a motherfucking hater. You been a hater. You mad because you left here. You got pregnant. Blah blah blah. So they just start going crazy on each other. You know when you grieve and anger comes out. So then they kind of separate. Michael get into his car. He like, man, F this. We did the funeral. I'm going to the crib. So then they go back to December 27th, 1999, where Brian tells Lora Eddie was the one who killed Charles. He went to a bar, got wild drunk, saw son in there chilling. Charles followed him outside and beat him to death. Obviously, because he felt like son had something to do with his daughter's appearance. Again, this is December 27th, 1999. 1999 in this book was a hell of a year for the families. I'll say that. So basically, Brian felt guilty because he hid the body. So what he did was he helped bury Charles. And he told Eddie to go to the crib, act like nothing happened. Because now he got to tell his wife what happened. Because she like, yo, I'm about to go to the cops. I can't do this no more. We got 3 supposedly dead people. So we don't know. I can't do this no more. So he finally had to tell her everything that happened. Again, struggling with that, Emma and Beth, they come across a field. Basically, she's in a rage of fit where she feel like the body is buried. That's what we flipping back. So after Brian tells Lora all of this stuff, on that date, they go back until the present time. Struggling with grief, she starts to look for Emma. She like, yo, I got to prove to Lucas that Emma was buried. My parents did this. That's when she come across a field, an animal with like dead names on it. And she like, yo, I don't remember like animals. We didn't lose no animals. Like none of my people died. Like none of my dogs and stuff died. Meanwhile, Nicole went back to the lockbox because her mother gave them some notes and was like, yo, don't open this until after my funeral. And they honored that. So when she actually looked, she was going to look for more clues, and boy, did she find them. Beth uncovers that there are not 1, not 2, but 3 bodies on the property. And then Lucas pops up. So then obviously Lucas pops back up to check on him. I'm thinking, yo, Lucas is the killer. It's raining. They doing the typical, it's raining. You know, they in the woods. She digging up a body. And now Lucas, he just comes out of nowhere and asks, are you okay? Come on, bro. Like I was like, oh yeah, he the killer. It's about to go down. But Nicole found something in the lockbox because they wasn't going to let her in. But, you know, she started crying, putting on the little crackhead cry. They let her in. They like, yo, if you got the key, you can just go in. We ain't going to ask you for no ID. She goes in her mother's lockbox and she finds everything she needs to find. And then right when she says, I got to tell, they flip it back. And then we see Lucas talking to Emma when all of a sudden, boom, Lucas get hit in the head with a shovel. And then the words again pop up in Beth's head, don't trust. And who he get hit in the head by? Motherfucking Michael. This nigga was the killer the whole time. I didn't know. Well, I kind of knew, but I didn't know he was the killer. Michael, so what happened was, now he actually telling what happened. Michael and Emma was playing by the creek. She climbed up on like the prairie, like on the top, like she was going to be like in this Titanic movie. And Michael went to run at her. You know how you were scared, try to scare somebody. And he claimed she fell and he hit her head. He covered her up in some grass and went home, and he told his dad what happened. But their dad is buried in the grave as well because he has his wedding ring on, and Beth knows it. So they go back again 7 years ago when Michael came home because he lost his girlfriend. His dad was chastising him because they already sent. So after Michael kind of says this about, you know, why he killed or what happened to Emma, it goes back again to December 27th, 1989. And he tells them, or Lora goes back and basically says she thinks that Michael did it on purpose, that he actually did it and it wasn't an accident. So because of that, right? Because of that, when he comes home after his girlfriend dies, or she dies or whatever, the father can't console him because he feel like he did it. And there's too many holes in his story. So when he come home, his father basically shunned him. Like, yo, how many holes do I have to dig for you? You know what I'm saying? Like he was just chastising him the whole time because they both felt like your girl ain't just died, you killed her. We know how you are. We did it already for you once. And all of these strings of events happened because of what you did that night. So after that, Mike and his father get into it. He rush him. They get into the scuffle. Mike hit him in the head with the trophy. I'm like, bruh. So Lora comes in there because she heard him. But the crazy thing is, Mike killed him trying to explain to the moms. Like, yo, he rushed me. He was doing all this. And I'm like, uh-oh. Here we go. This is where it get even crazier. The moms helped Michael bury his father. So the whole time, she knew that Michael killed the pops, Brian. And she still helped Mike bury his father. So I'm looking at it like, okay, if you help bury your father and you had the help of your moms, what else are you capable of? Right? So I'm looking at it like, okay, Mike is simply wilding. And I'm looking at it like, what really happened? You know, because something else had to happen. It just couldn't happen like that. And lo and behold, we get to Lora again. And she tells it from her perspective. And she said, Eddie beat Charles to death. Brian cleaned it up. Mike lied about what happened with Christy. So Christy never really died. She went missing, but she never really died. Christy was like, she wanted to get out. So basically it was these pictures that she had took detailing the events of what happened that day. And basically Mike didn't run at her. He pushed her. So he pushed Emma off the prairie and she hit her head. So Mike was a natural born killer from the beginning. And Christy had the pictures to prove it. But she was like, nah, she wanted to get out that town anyway. So what she did was she came over to the Thomas's crib and blackmailed the hell out of Brian. And basically told him like, yo, you gonna give me that $5,000, a new ID, and help me get out of town. Or I'm gonna go to the cops with these pictures and your son is gonna be gone. So I thought that was like a nice little twist. It's like Christy, it would have been too much going into her disappearance, but you wrote her in and you wrote her out. That was a great move. Shake my hand. That was a great move, right? So then she basically got out of town. She was never missing. She got out of town. She was married with 2 kids. So I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. They was basically trying to save Mike by redirecting his energy to something else that they had to protect him. They thought that if they could redirect his behavior, get him into all this tech stuff, coding and everything, it would make him grow up to be a better person. But in the same sense, they neglected their girls. And the mother kind of said that in her notice to the girls, like, yo, I really neglected the girls, paying more attention to Michael, trying to redirect his anger and his benefit. So I just thought that that was an ill way to kind of end the book. We just come to find out that Mike was the killer. He did all of that stuff. He did it on purpose. It wasn't on accident. Because see, from his perspective, he thinking it was an accident. But when Lora said it and how what happened with Christy and how she got everything, the pictures simply see in the pictures Mike pushing her. So they like, yo, we got to protect him at all times. We can't. This is different from what he said, even if we did go to the cops. So that blackmail had Brian. And I think Brian's a good father because I would do the same thing, right? A lot of people would turn their kids and I wouldn't do that. I'm going to protect my kids and try at all times. So then that was basically kind of the book. It was a nice thriller book. You know, it was a good thriller book. I really enjoyed it. But then we get into 3 years later. Oh, so let's go back. Nah, we ain't finished yet. So Michael and Beth, when Michael come, he hit Lucas in the head. They go back and forth. You know, obviously he chasing his sister around. You know, all of this stuff happened. He got a gun. You know, he telling her, you know, everything that happened. You should have just left it alone. You should have just left. Let me buy the house. Everything would have stayed buried. None of this stuff had to happen. But he like, now I got to put you down. That's when Nicole pull up because she realized it was Michael too. So that's when Nicole pull up. This is the action scene right here. They obviously, she calling out for Beth because she know Michael was the killer. And she like, Beth like, no, don't do nothing. He like, if you shut up, I won't hurt her. He's like, I'm gonna have to put you down because you know too much. That's when the gun go all, that's when all 3 siblings get Nicole come out of nowhere. Well, Mike grab up Beth and he was about to try to choke her. She bite him, you know, trying to get free. They getting all the scramble. Just think about it. They getting all the scrambling on the floor in the woods. Lucas is laid out. Nicole comes. She try to help. They all grab the gun. And she said it. It's like they all grab the gun and it's like they're fighting like with a toy like they did back in the day. And I could just picture it. They fighting over the gun and then it spins to them fighting over like a toy. And it go back to them fighting over the gun. Then the gun go off. I thought one of the girls was going to get shot, but it wasn't the girls. It was Michael. Michael got clapped right in the stomach. But he ain't die though. But that was basically like the end of the book. It was like showing the 3 siblings struggle, and Mike was the one that came away with the bullet in the gut. So 3 years, ambulance come, they start talking, they take Mike away, they check on Lucas, he ain't die. But 3 years later, we see Lucas, we see Beth talking, and her and Lucas got married, and they had a kid named Jack. Marissa, Her daughter, who was in the Navy, comes back, and they got a better relationship, because in the beginning they didn't have a real good relationship, because she was in the military. She felt like she lost touch with her moms, or her mother felt like she lost touch with her. Mike ain't died though, but he did get locked up. He got that nice little 50 piece, eligible for parole in like 2060 something. But the banger of the jump was Nicole. Nicole was the banger. I really like how they wrote her, the ending of her story. She cleaned up herself. Obviously, her and Casey got together. But now she is a world-renowned author who wrote Home is Where the Bodies Are, basically telling her side of the story about the night her family had to hide the body of Emma. And then we kind of find out she's kicked her drug habit. She's clean, you know. She's just in a better place. And I thought that was a good way Geneva ended the book. I didn't give the book a 5, but I gave the book a 4. It was a very decent thriller. And I really didn't have no complaints about the book. I thought she summed it up well. The story was good. The backstory was good. And it just made you, the reason why you want to read it is because you like, what the hell happened? Like, who did what? You know, that's what kind of helped me get through the book, or whatever the case may be. And it was just a good book, man. Geneva, you did it again. Another banger. Shake My Hand yet again. This is the Bookish 9, and I'm gone.